Debt is hard. Financial freedom is hard. Failure is hard. Victory is hard. War is hard. Maintaining peace is hard. Life will never be easy, but what you can do is choose your heart, and that decision will make all the difference. Choose Friday at 3 p.m. We are women. We are brave, strong, capable, unique. We are women to women.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Back we are with another woman-to-woman show for you. How's the weather there? Here, still very cold, and I guess throughout the country. But we are going to warm your heart. That's our intent for today. Because today, we're going to make them to choose their heart. This is an expression that is quite used recently, but breaking it to the meaning, it is, life is hard. It is hard anyway. But depending on your choices of the heart you want to follow, you will need to live out of the consequences. So choose your heart. It's a matter of choice. We want to explore some of the common things that people tend to be between life is hard, this is hard, not knowing that the opposite of it is much harder. What would you say?
The first one is building your career. So when we think of it, it means there will be a lot of sacrifice. So you will not be hanging around with your friends. You will not be entertaining yourself. You will not be participating in leisures and activities that are not profitable, because all you're invested in is getting your degree or making sure that whatever field you want to be in, you're going to make the necessary sacrifices. And you'll hear a lot of them saying, oh, it's so hard. I don't think I can do 7 years of varsity. I don't think I can stay away from parties for that long. But the truth is, you not having a career is harder than that, because you're going to be unemployed. Then you have to depend on people to pay for your bills, to give you food, to give you rent, money, and all of those things. And then some will say, oh no, but the government will give us funding. But remember, that funding doesn't come to your account. You need to wake up in the morning, in this cold morning, go and queue up for that little money. And when it finishes, it's even much more harder. So I think the best heart I would choose in that situation would be to build my career, because at the end of the day, you are going to reap the great consequences of it, which is making your own money, having your own house, and feeling accomplished and not depending on anybody.
I'm still remembering about the millennials who are career-driven. but they don't want to build their career if the company doesn't offer them the conditions they are looking for. So my question is, what is harder? Choose your heart. Jumping from one job to the other and leaving every year as a new start. Because of course, when you start working in a new place, you have to learn about the office politics. You need to learn about the motto of that company, the products that you are offering. So when you build, that's the name, build a career, it means you're going to be adding one brick of knowledge to the other, one brick of experience to the previous one. But if you jump from one work to the other, you're never going to build a career. Because truth is, every time you start all over again, you end up going backwards. What you have learned, your friends, your colleagues, your clients, your techniques, your structure will all have to be revisited because now you are in a new company.
And I think the worst is other companies start wondering as well, why is this person skipping from one company to another? And they will not invest in you as much as they would with someone that built their career from the ground going up in that company, because they're going to think, if we take this person to university or something, once they get that degree or whatever thing it is, they will go away and they will not benefit the company in any way. And that's a problem that we see with many millennials. There'll come a time where they are old, and when they look back, they did not, because they didn't build their careers, their lives are not accomplished. And we hear so many of them saying, oh no, nowadays, oh no, I think I should be an artist instead. No career, like I can't do the 9 to 5. No, the truth is, because they never built their career up, there is no one that really trusts and wants to invest in them.
And something else, when you think about entrepreneurs, for you to be a good entrepreneur, you be the owner of your own business, you need to have expertise and experience in the field you are working. Because truth is, you need to offer what the other companies or similar products are not offering. And how will you know that if you haven't worked in that field? That's the reason for many businesses out there failing. So choose your heart. You say, I wanted to be my own boss. But what is harder? For you to try to be your own boss and fail for lack of expertise and experience, or spending some time in corporate business to learn the do's and don'ts and finding something else that you can add on to your product so that your business will really cater for the needs. It's a matter of choice.
And I think as well, even being an artist, that is hard as well, because you have to go for auditions. They say, no, I'll write my own music. I'll go on TikTok and then post my music. That is still hard because people will not buy. Some people might not buy whatever single you have. Now we don't have singles. Maybe they might not download the music that you have. So being an artist is hard as well. It's not as easy as many people make it to be. Those accomplished artists, of course, they make it look like it was simple. But even if you sit down with them and you ask them, they will tell you it was hard going from one audition to another, learning how to act, learning how to sing, learning how to do all of those things. It's hard, so they need to choose their heart.
And not mentioning that whoever is working, by the end of the month, they know they can count on an X amount to cover their fees. When you try solo, you never know if you're going to make any money or how much. And you need to be prepared for that challenge. So it needs to be a decision you take it mindfully and not just by the spur of the moment, I'll be an artist. I can't hold a career, let me be an artist. Because then you're going to be without a job and without the finances that you need.
Then you're choosing a heart as well in your love life.
Oh, so that one is hard.
We have those who are single, and being a single person is hard. We have those who are married, and being married is hard. And we have those who divorce, and that is harder.
And we have those who want to just stay together thinking they don't have the commitment and liabilities, but it's not like that.
Really hard. Believe in us, it will be really hard. So if you try to make things easier, even for us, being married for a couple of years, it's hard because we need to adjust, we need to adapt, and the person doesn't want to make the sacrifice. They don't want to choose that hard. And in the love life, they see themselves like, I lived this amount of years with this person and nothing happened. It's kind of, I lost my time with that person. And in fact, is that they don't want to commit and make the sacrifice that it's needed for that relationship to work. So if you are going to divorce, you will have that backpack of traumas, of disappointments. If you are single, we were talking about it, in 2022, it's been hard to find a man who is committed, and we believe you are looking for a man of God who share the same faith as you have. So imagine in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time. So if it's hard now, can be harder if you don't start to work right now for what you want. And in marriage, you need to adjust each and every day. We are married, and until today, there are things we need to change. And people, they come sometimes to talk to us and they say, I don't know, maybe I got married with the wrong person. No, you didn't get married with the wrong person. You just need to accept your heart, the level of your heart, and adjust and work on yourself. So it's worth to choose one hard and the right hard, if I may say, if we have this expression, the right hard.
Maybe we are just launching it now.
Yes, the right hard, where you are going to, if you are single, you are going to invest in yourself to be free of the traumas of the past, if you have any, and you are going to wait for the person that you are going to build life together. And if you are married, you are going to adjust, you are going to work each and every day and adjust on yourself. And we believe you are not going to the harder extent that you are going to need to divorce. And you will be able to build family as we are doing that each and every day, choosing our heart. That when we do it with love, it becomes less harder, if I may say, and you see the benefits of working together with your husband.
Let me add one heart to your list. You might think, after many years married, I will figure everything out. Fact is, you won't. It's still going to be hard because people change. I changed it. My husband changed it. So when I figured him out, he had changed it. And I had to choose the heart of figuring it all over again. But at least I chose the right heart. And I'm very happy married, working on it every day. And now I know that it will be endless because the older he grows and the older I grow, we change, we mature. So what was so wow in the beginning and relevant, it's not that relevant anymore. And things we didn't have as very important by then, now we cultivate. But I have chosen the right heart. I keep on investing in my marriage.
And I'm thinking she touched base on cohabitation. That is very hard because every single day you know deep down that that person is not really committed to you. And a lot of women are saying, no, but that's the new thing. You want to test it out before it starts. Truth be told is it might never start because that person's already getting whatever benefit that they need to be getting from you. And a lot of them think, no, but then you don't understand. It's the new age of relationships. But deep down when you go to bed, let's all just be honest, you know deep down that he's not yours and you're just waiting for the day that is going to come where he's going to find something new, something bright, something colorful and leave you for that.
And it will not endure the challenges. When we remember about, we have to make this work because we have a commitment, we have our vows on the altar, we have our families, we might be the first ones and only ones to be really married in our families. We put all that into account, not as a burden, but as a motivation, and we work on it. When there is no commitment, it's easy to walk through the door and try all over again. And didn't work, and I'll try again. And you're going to find out 20 years later, 3 kids from different relationships, that you chose the wrong heart, that you didn't invest in your love life.
And there's some people who say, I'm too young to get married. I'll wait until I'm in my 30s. But still, it's still hard. Whether you get married at 20 or you get married at 40, it is still hard. You still need to put the same energy and the same effort into your marriage. So waiting might not be so beneficial if you say, no, I'm just going to wait until I'm older. I'm just going to enjoy my life and I'll get married when I'm more matured or whatever. It's still going to be the same heart.
And the heart now of those who are in this mode is that they don't find anyone. They so-called enjoying their lives in the beginning, and now it's really hard to find someone in the same age that is going to share the same goals together. So choose your right heart.
Another heart that people need to choose between is the heart of forgiving others and the heart of not forgiving others. Both of them is hard, and I know that in the church we always speak and people always testify that I had to forgive my mom, I had to forgive my dad, which they always say that it was very difficult because for many years they tried to justify the fact of why they should not forgive. And in many cases, the person who did wrong actually, if we look at it, might not deserve to be forgiven if we look at it properly. They might have abused you, they might have done something wrong, like, hurt you in a way that no one has ever hurt you. But keeping that hurt within you, it's harder as well. Forgiving is hard. Letting go of the pain of the past and saying, you know what, God, I forgive them. They don't deserve it, but I forgive them. That is one of the most difficult things that a person can do. But it is rewarding because it helps your health. You become less stressed. You become a healthy person overall. But choosing as well to keep that grudge will make you sick. In and out of hospital, you will not be happy. You will still be holding on to that person's fault. And that person, it's worse when that person has moved on and forgotten what happened. That is extremely difficult. You see the person all the time on social media. The person is enjoying their lives and you're thinking, but did he forget what he did to me? You are still 20 years, you are still there in that moment 20 years ago. Hostage. You are in a prison without bars and you don't want to come out, but the person who has the key is you. But you are not using that key to come out of that prison of grudges. Both is hard. But the thing is, when you choose to forgive, now you become a healthy person. You become a happy person. You come out of that prison without bars. You use the key to free yourself. And that person, it might have happened. It happened, but it doesn't hold you hostage anymore. You are now a free person. You are free to live your life. You're free to do whatever it is that you want to live. And as we have spoken in the show many times before, is that when you revisit the past and the pain, the mind does not differentiate that it happened 20 years ago. It's still the same pain. So the pain that I felt 20 years ago when I was hurt will still be the same pain that I will feel today. And it will be the same pain that I will feel 20 years if I don't forgive, if I don't let go. And it is not easy. There will be tears. Many people fight. They fight really with God, like, God, but I can't forgive this person. You know what they did to me. You know how it hurts. And I know it started in the Bible, of course, like forgive your enemies, love your enemies. But now we see how many people who don't even believe in the Bible, yet they believe that you still have to forgive. It has been medically proven. It has been psychologically proven. It has been proven over and over and over again that forgiveness is hard, but it is the best option for anyone who might have a grudge, to let go. You might not forget that easily, but you forgive. It's beneficial for you, not only for the person who hurt, but it is more beneficial for you. So choose your heart to keep the grudge or to let go of the grudge, to forgive or to hold on to that pain that was caused.
In this matter of forgiveness, to forgive others, it's hard. Not to forgive, much harder. But there are those who manage to forgive other people. However, they are still struggling about forgiving themselves. So they learned through the Word of God that they had to let it go, and they did. However, they are dwelling with that thought Why did I put myself in that situation? Why did I make that decision that I'm paying for that now? Why I decided to be a single mother and now I am going through the hassles of motherhood? Why this, why that? And they don't realize they are not forgiving themselves. They think they made the best choice to forgive others. But accusing themselves daily, it becomes the new heart. They live with the accusation. And when you accuse yourself, you don't need anyone to do that job for you. You look down at yourself, you know your shortcomings, and you're very insecure. You transfer the pain, the hatred, the anger that you had towards someone, and you put that burden upon yourself. And when God teaches us to forgive, He also teaches us to forgive ourselves, because forgiveness comes from Him. He forgave you and He forgave your offender. But now you need to choose your heart to let go of yourself. There was a mistake. There was a wrong choice. There is something you regret you did. You put yourself in that situation. You can't go back in time. However, if you choose the heart of not forgiving yourself every day, you're going to wake up doing wrong decisions or not enjoying life, not giving yourself a new chance in a relationship, not embarking in a new adventure in your career, not having a plenished relationship with God, because the heart you are choosing is to keep yourself as an offender, not accountable, an offender, and not letting go. So choose your heart to forgive others. It's painful, but it is a process of deliverance. But also choose your heart to forgive yourself. Give yourself the opportunity of a new beginning. Do not hold yourself as the only person who has ever failed in the world, because here we are and we have failed as much, but we chose our heart to forgive ourselves.
So talking about money now, how we should...
That's another one. We need
Now
to
we
choose
change
the heart.
Yes, and this time is being very hard with, with how prices are increasing out there. So
Talk about petrol here.
Yeah, pandemic, petrol, groceries, and every time when you go, you need to think, how I'm going to save. To save is hard. But if you don't save, it will be harder, because when you need, you will not have the provision that will be necessary. So little adjustments. Maybe you need to change brands. Sometimes it's been hard to pay the rental of that big house. You need to move to a smaller house. It's hard. But to come to the point that you don't have money at all to even rent a house later on can be even harder. So it's better if you do adjustments that you will suffer a little bit. Here you need to say no for the eating outside. Sometimes you were using to go to restaurants and you would always like to eat out, and you need now to... It's hard to be home. It's hard to cook. It's hard to... Okay, it's hard, but will be harder. Imagine you eat outside, you pay a high price, and you are not satisfied, because in nowadays, that's what is happening. Because people outside in the restaurants, they are also under stress, so they don't have the same quality to deliver for the same price. So it's hard. So choose your heart, save as much as you can, because that will help you not to go to the harder extreme when you see yourself in a need of necessary things that you don't have because you didn't save properly.
And we made a series of programs here giving you tips on how to find balance in your financial life. So, of course, it's hard that you wanted to buy something that you like, and right now you cannot. However, it's harder to live in debts. It's harder not to have what to give to your kids. So revisit our show. We have reorganized our Facebook page So you'll find a special session for all the programs that we had in Woman to Woman. And we had frugal living. We had a series of programs about budgeting. We had also purpose of living. Which other titles did we have?
I think the tips of changing things in the house is from the controlling program that we had.
More than a year ago, surprisingly. What was the intentional living? Yes, we had intentional living, and all these programs will help you to make some decisions for your financial life. Because we know financial life these days is quite hard, but it's harder not having the means you need for basic food, for transportation, for clothing, for sending your children to school. So make use of these resourceful tools that we made available through our programs and start using it. Another heart.
Another heart is surrendering your pride. A lot of people are so pride driven, and maybe you're going to look and say, oh no, that's not me, I'm not like that. But how do you know you're proud? Statements like, this is how I am, take it or leave it. And we don't see that sometimes we do that even with God. There are a lot of people that say, God can ask me for this, but that I'm not going to give to God. And in fact, in that very moment, it is your pride speaking. And yes, it is hard surrendering our pride to God at first, because we think we're losing. And indeed, we are losing. You're losing your ideas, you're losing your identity that you had so long with you, and the image that you had built before people. Some people have this image of looking strong, but inside they are weak. So when you let that go and people get to know the real Precious at first, it is hard because people are shocked as well, and you feel vulnerable, you feel afraid, and you're not really sure, will God really have my back? Because maybe in the beginning you don't have that relationship with God. Yes, that is hard, but the hardest thing is resisting that surrendering, because the more you don't, you're going to suffer a lot of loss. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be always finding yourself in this merry-go-round of problems, of mindsets, of ideologies that put you down instead of elevating you to the next level. There are a lot of people that say, this is how I am and God created me this way. But the truth is, God did not create us proud. Pride is something that we allow to be inside of us. And when we do that, we impede people from even coming close to us, because the truth is, no one wants to be close to a proud person, because when a person is proud, it's all about them. So, no, okay, you think Nadala is cute. Okay, I can make a better Nadala than that. And then it's like, but there's no need. There is no competition, because
Nadala is very happy here with us.
She's happy with us. So what is the problem? But when you're proud, you're very competitive as well. And that makes it suffocating to be in the same place with you, because people always know that it's all going to come back to that person. So it's their views, their point, what they want. And there are many things in our spiritual lives that God will require from us that in the beginning we don't understand. We think we're suffering a loss, but the truth is we're gaining, because as soon as you let go of that very thing, later on when you reap the results, you're much more happier, you're much more lighter, as we're touching base on forgiveness in general. We hear of how many times when people say, then when I forgave, that heavy load was taken off. And nothing can buy that. And as long as you're proud, you remain in that pain. And we see a lot of people that they don't want to surrender their lives because they ask, what will God give me in return? But then that's your pride talking, because every morning you're waking up, you're breathing, you have a chance to change, you're in a service, or you're watching us now, and God is saying to you, just give yourself to me, surrender. I won't hurt you, I won't harm you, because the truth is, life has been hard till this point. But if you just give yourself to Him, He will actually help you. But your pride is holding you back and impeding you from living truly.
I hope you have been identifying what has been hard for you. And the opposite of that, isn't that harder? So we spoke about the right heart. And I want to share with you a quote that I found that speaks about this right heart. And I'm going to make some questions just after this quote.
Life is hard. Life is difficult. Life is going to punch you in the gut. But when you change your attitude, you change your behavior. When your behavior changes, so do your results. Will Hurd,
Now, I'm going to ask them, what was one heart that you had to choose?
For me, it was forgiving my dad. That was really hard because I did not understand anything. I didn't understand why he left. I didn't understand why he was not in contact. I didn't understand a lot of things. But as well, I didn't ask. I also didn't do my part of reaching out and asking and trying to find out what happened. So that was hard when I had to, because I thought I was right. I thought I was right with, I mean, he did me wrong. He didn't provide for us. He just left, started his own life. So having to forgive him was very difficult because I don't actually remember hearing him say that he was sorry for what he did. He might have said it, I don't know, indirectly. He might have asked for forgiveness indirectly, but he never spoke to me, sat down with me and say, my child, I'm sorry for what I did. So having to forgive and to move on past that was very difficult for me. But I'm in peace now, knowing that before he passed, we were talking, even though it was difficult because I had to get to know him all over again. As I said before, that all of my memories of him growing up, I don't remember anything about my childhood growing up, especially with my father. So I had to know him again. And well, he passed while we were still in that process of getting to know each other again. But I'm happy that I forgave him before he passed on.
Before we go on with the question, I'm going to just use this to make an announcement. In the month of August, Women's Month in South Africa, you're going to learn more about this story, in Silmara's story, in my story, and other story, in a program that we are going to do about You Have Never Asked. So you have to hold on with your curiosity, choose your heart to wait patiently, because this program will really be a mind-blowing for moms and for daughters and for sons as well. All are invited during the month of August. But now you didn't escape. What was your heart?
Okay, I think my heart was when I had to open up to my parents about what happened to me as a teenager, because we spoke about it, I think, in the second season when I went through traumatic experience at home. And I had forgiven the person, actually. I had forgiven myself because I understood there was nothing I did to cause that. But I remember always being angry with my parents for them not noticing or saying or thinking that something must have caused my change. But then I remember when I had to choose the heart of actually sitting and speaking with them, for me, the hardest thing was not wanting to see them disappointed or hurt. And I knew what it would do to them. But as soon as I did that, it was actually a relief to my dad, number one, because he always wondered, like, what was the great shift that took place. And for my mom, she said she always saw signs. And because the individual that was in questioning at that moment, there has been repeated incidents and complaints of similar things, they actually got to a point of realizing that this person actually needs help and they need to get help for that person. And the person is actually currently getting help through family, through the legal system and stuff like that, because then they found out that the person also had their own trauma that they went through and no one had said it. So for me, that was the heart that I had to let go of. And when I did, it became a pleasant thing, because my other fear was, how would my parents react towards the individual? But they actually, being a man and a woman of God, understood that the person needs help and everybody's working together to get that person help.
One of the hearts that I had to choose was to give my life to God so young. However, being hard because the world never gives up on us. He's trying to take us back. But I believe it would be even harder not to have given my life by then to God really completely. If I would have make different choices, and we face challenge because when you come to God, even you grew up in the church, your life will not be wonderful with so many conquests. You have a lot of hard moments, even inside the church. So choosing the hard of being with God was better than the harder of being outside in the world. So I don't regret of choosing this hard.
And now looking at me because you want me to share my heart. There were many choices I have to make, but if I could put this one, I had a promising future in my career. I was building a career, actually, and I could have gone to live in Switzerland, as those of you know my testimony, because I had already signed a contract. And I came across that situation. I had to make a choice. And this hard, it was God who chose for me. Because I had in front of me to either go for my career, being a Christian, serving as an assistant. I was not choosing for something I would be an unbeliever. I would not leave God. And quitting everything to be married to a pastor's wife and being a housewife. That was the promise that I had at that moment. To leave all the plans, the glamour, everything I invested for many years, and just to become a pastor's wife. And it was a very hard choice, because I didn't know much. Today we have the class preparing, we have meeting with the disciples, we have a good idea of what to do the work of God is like. In my days, you didn't. You would embark and go with the flow. And if you would survive, good for you. And that is what I had to choose. But it was God who chose me my heart. Of course, I had to agree with this calling. But in front of me, I had that idea from next week on. I will not have any of the things that I'm used to. I will not have the commitments I have to. I'm not going to be as requested as I am to. I will not have authority because at the end of the day, I will be a wife and I'll have to subject to my husband. And that was a difficult moment. But I chose the good heart, the right heart. As a matter of fact, I say it was the Holy Spirit who made the choice for me and for you as well. And we allow Him to choose the best heart, the heart becomes lighter. Just after our break, we are going to give you some tips of what can you do when you see life is getting hard. Stay tuned. We are going to be right back.
Fear, you won't take me down. Hate, you won't steal my crown. King with no kingdom, a prince with no peace. You've had your day, yeah, but today that's not me. 'Cause when I walk through the fires of life, I won't be afraid, no, won't be afraid, no. God, you walk through the fires with me, so I won't be afraid, no, won't be afraid, no. I lift my arms up, I cast my cares up with faith like a child, oh, no matter what, no matter what. When I walk through the fires of life, I won't be afraid, no, won't be afraid, no. Keep walk, 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 yeah. Keep walk, 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 walk,
Welcome back. To make things easier for you, though we're speaking about hard, we are going to give you a few tips on what can you do when life really gets hard.
Remember that.
Tip 1.
Okay, remember tip 1. Remember that it will not last forever. Seasons change, times change, things change. So it will not last forever. It's hard for now, but eventually things will be simpler, not easier, but it will be simpler. But remember that times change and it will change. In Sotho we say that sesa failing siyahlola. So it will change, it will end, just hold on.
Take it as a learning experience. Instead of looking at the ending result, enjoy the ride. Whatever goes wrong, you're learning how not to do that mistake again. Whatever goes right, you learned how you can apply to make it work in every area of your life.
Take some time to relax. And
That's
why
a
they are
learning
laughing?
experience.
Yeah, because I need to learn with this tip as well. Because if you are just going one hard after the other and you don't have time for yourself, for you to relax, for you to put in order your thoughts, it can be even harder. So choose a moment, as I'm going to make it a priority, that you do have this time to relax a little bit, and it will be less harder. It will not be harder, it will be less harder maybe.
Practice gratitude. Be grateful for what you have today and not worry about what you don't have yet.
And you need to practice self-care. This is very important, especially when you have hard moments in your life. It includes as well taking a rest, being grateful. So practicing self-care is very important during hard moments, because then you get to reflect on whatever you've gone through. You get to take care of yourself and be strong and strengthen yourself. So practice some self-care during this time.
Take one day after the other. Day by day, things will be easier. So if you just start doing everything at once, another learning curve for me. So just one day after the other. You stop, you do the day of today, and you wait for tomorrow what is going to be harder next day. Then you're going to be fine.
I think my tips are coming against Xiomara. It's nothing personal. Learn acceptance. You need to learn what you can change, but things that you cannot change. You can change yourself, but you cannot change other people. And when you learn to accept some situations, some people's behavior, life becomes much easier for you. Nessie?
Yes. And the last one is talk it out. A lot of people end up finding themselves overwhelmed and they feel like they're just drowning because they don't want to talk things out. Talking things out doesn't mean you're going to be shouting at people and not listening, but finding a trusted person that you can speak in, like a trusted source, be it maybe the ones that are in the YPG. We have our event corner, we have the Women in Action counseling lines that we have the pastors' wives, assistants in the churches that you can actually go and speak to them, knowing that it's a safe environment where you will not be judged, but you'll also receive, I think, not criticism, but you will receive advice that will help you move forward. Maybe things that you never thought of, or things that you never saw other people's opinions on them because you felt like you were judged and you were alone. So talking it out is also another tip you can follow.
Now I wanted to talk to you about God's heart. That is not really hard. There are so many people that they have dropped from their faith. And there are those who say, no, a life with God is too hard because at the end of the day, I need to change who I am. I have to lose my identity. I cannot do what I wanted to do. I have pleasure in going out dancing, or I am an addict and I can't quit it. It's too hard. Yes, indeed. A life with God is hard from the point of view that you come as you are, but in the process, you're going to be transformed into a new person. And not everyone is prepared to let go of that old person, of the grudges, of the lies, of the crooked ways, of the desires of the flesh, of not having commitment, of not being honest. However, think about your life today. Maybe you chose the harder of being far away from God. For those of you who have been with God, think about the days you would have the pleasure to come to church. You would wake up early on Sundays and you have a purpose. I'm going to attend the service and I'm going to meet my pals at YPG, or I'm going to go and evangelize. You had a meaning for your life. You had joy. You had assurance that whatever you would do, God would be with you. Life turned difficult. You were tempted. You gave in to that temptation. You went back to be the kind of person that you were before. You embraced depression. And now you see yourself with suicidal thoughts. Was this not much harder than a life with God? However, God's heart is not really hard. Let us read together the passage of Matthew 11, 28 to 30. When you're going to see the concept of God's yoke, He doesn't want a life with Him to be hard on you. Actually, He wants it to be very light and pleasant. That was the choice we made. It reads like this: "Come to me," He is inviting you now, "all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. All of you who look at life and say, it's hard, I'm about to give up. I'm about to give up my marriage. I'm about to give up my faith. I'm about to give up my life." He is saying, come to Him. Jesus is telling you that. "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." While the devil was trying to make you believe that a life with God is hard, Jesus said, I am gentle. He wants to bring rest to your soul. How long is it that you don't find peace within yourself? How long is it that you look at every corner of life and you only see challenges? You are overburdened. He wants to give you rest. He wants to bring you peace. "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." God's heart is light. His burden is easy. And you know why? Because when we opt for God, He takes care of everything. When I came to that dead end, do I pursue my career? Do I give my life to serve God, not knowing about tomorrow? It was very hard. I was a person who had everything under control, everything planned in my life to details, by the seconds. And all of a sudden I had to let all go. And I didn't suffer one bit, because God now was making the plan for me. God was controlling all the situations, mostly those that I would not find a solution. And that's why the heart of God became light in my life. This is what we want for you. We want you to experience the same we did. We chose the heart, but the right heart and the heart that is light. And we want you to do the same. There will always going to be two sides, and we will need to live with the consequences of our choices. We have been through hardships, but being with God, He opened the doors. Maybe you chose not to go through those hardships, and when you look now, you regret. But we want to pray for you so that your regret may become in the right choice, and you may live the yoke, the light burden of God in your life. Will you pray for us, please?
Our Lord, we thank you firstly for this topic. And we ask that right now, as we are all listening and watching, may we understand that in life there will always be two sides to pick from. But in this moment, we come to you and ask that we be the ones that choose your yoke, which is lighter than all. A lot of them have found themselves constantly crying, battling, and asking why are they even alive but not realizing that the reason they have these questions and these thoughts in their minds is because they have been choosing the incorrect heart. But right now, accept this person as she gives herself right now to you, and finally lets go of all the temptations that have been making her hold on to this battle that she's living day in and day out, and wondering what resolution there is. But right now, you have given it to her. Allow her right now to choose your heart, to remain firm in it, because you said, my Lord, in your word, when we draw near to you, we will find rest. So allow her right now to find this rest from this very moment, and that every single challenge that will come afterwards, they will understand that it will become a challenge, but later a great blessing in this journey of faith that we are in. We thank you for this program. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So we hope to have blessed you amazingly today, proving that life is hard, but it can be very light with God. Next week, we bring a very controversial show, and I have homework for you. If you want to understand a bit more of what we're talking about, you will have to find the meaning of clutching your pearls, because that is our topic for next week. Until then, God bless you all. And we are going to be back at 3 p.m. Woman to Woman show, where values are treasured. God bless you. Bye-bye.
No, they didn't. Wait a minute. Are you sure that this is my script? Are you sure the Woman to Woman ladies are going to take it that far? All right. Okay. This week on Woman to Woman, prepare yourselves for the shocks, the gasps, and everything in between. Ladies, it's time to clutch your pearls, because this Friday at 3 p.m., it's about to get controversial. See you there.